Good morning, happy Monday, and welcome back, insiders. Today, I want to focus on BMR, which was giving us some pretty amazing action pre-market and at the market open, and even right now, late morning, it is ripping higher and higher and higher. So I hope even with the big Super Bowl weekend, everyone is feeling good and ready to go because, man, Monday did not waste any time. It was a good game, though, yesterday. It was long, 5 hours because of overtime. I mean, football is always very long, but it was quite enjoyable to watch if you guys watched it. So we had three gappers here that were making some really good moves, and I'll just throw on my second screen so you guys could see them in real time. We had DHAI here at the bottom left, just breaking out right now, also got halted. Like all these other tickers, it's crazy how many halts we had. We had MGIH, which is up 300%. DHAI is up almost 1,200% right now. And this one also started halting up. I didn't actually get any trades on MGIH or DHAI, which is a little bit unusual. I was really focused on BMR, which was our top gainer, and really the one that most people are watching all day. It's up almost 600% right now. Absolutely crazy what we're seeing here. And it's still grinding higher, but I went ahead and called it today because I just felt like managing the risk became very difficult. So two things still hold very true for me that I want to discuss as we review the live recording. First is trading the front side harder. Sometimes I let the front side creep away from me a little bit, or I'll miss my entry just by a few cents. And this is where I make most of my money. So if there's a good front side, I need to jump on it, even if I'm buying a little bit high. And the second thing I need to do is work on my patience. So once the front side's over, oftentimes I'll get bored and I'll start doing some really silly trades. For example, I'll often look at a ticker and I'll think, oh man, this is kind of an okay entry. Maybe I want it to pull back a little bit more, and then it pops up, and then I chase, and then I get flushed in, and then I stop out exactly where I wanted to get in 2 minutes earlier. It happens to me almost every single day, like once or twice. Sometimes it's a small scratch, but sometimes it's a pretty significant loss. And today I took a pretty significant loss doing this really silly thing. And man, I'll tell you what, it really bums you out a little bit when that happens. So patience, aggression, size. Be patient for the right setup, and then get aggressive when you see it. Don't miss it by 1 cent, like I said. And then size hard if it's quality. That's really what it's all about. Obviously easier said than done. Otherwise, I wouldn't repeat it all the time. So let's look at BMR, some of the fundamentals here. It has a really nice low float of 8 million, even though it has a market cap that's a little bit higher. Now, what I was a little confused about is on FinViz, we're actually getting 4 million here. But no matter what, it's below 10 million, I would say, which is a pretty good spot. It is ripping more like a 4 or even a 2 million ticker, but it was very thickly traded. It does have a catalyst as well, so everything was adding up on BMR. The only thing I didn't like was the fact that it has an offering in progress without an exercise price, so it kind of just feels like it's coming, but you don't really know when. So I was a little bit iffy about that. In terms of the daily chart on BMR, it has been in this consolidation phase for a really long time. Today we're getting that huge amount of volume, and we did have a former pop here to about $8.04. So once we ripped that, it was pretty much in play. So 804 was the spot to beat, but pre-market we were still stuck in this like $4 to $5 range. Let's go ahead and check out some of the trades that I made on it. So BMR had a nice little front side here, and I didn't actually trade it till right around this area. I made a quick little front side pop, made some money here, then I gave back on backside, and now it was crawling back up again. You could see a nice big 5-minute breakout, and I just got back green right here. And this is where it's really easy to make mistakes on this ticker. And I was saying in the Discord, like, oh, I'm green, I'm red, I'm green, I'm red, I'm green, I'm red. And I'll show you why it was so hard on this ticker. So coming back to the 9 EMA, I'm buying a little bit early here with size. So this is a little bit of a mistake. I should have let it come down, and it's probably started entering right now. So I'm actually thinking about, oh man, I should probably hold this a little bit longer because there's a good chance it's gonna rip higher. Basically my idea here was buying off the 9 EMA and then riding this one higher. I have a pretty decent size, 1,600 shares. We're over the $10,000 mark, but then here it sells off a little bit more again. And you could just see P&L open, I'm instantly down 300, and I think I go down like 400 or 500 on this trade pretty quickly, just because how strong this ticker pulls back. So a lot of these pullbacks were stronger than you'd expect, and they were deeper than you would expect. So it was a little bit hard to manage your risk, and I end up stopping out of this one just for it to actually start crawling back and moving higher again. So it was a ticker where you had to be patient on, but at the same time, you didn't know if it was over, because sometimes it would really behave like this ticker was gone, and that's what made trading it so tricky. it found some support on these trend lines that I drew. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, it's an ascending wedge, which do typically break to the downside, but we're not at the top end of that yet. So that was my thesis on going into this trade here, which was buying high, even though I just stopped out. Basically, let's see if we can get back to this supply zone trend line. And it did kind of work, but at this point, I'm trading with smaller size. Here you can see P&L open, and then here you can see P&L on the day, this ticker. Easy to get some green trades in and then have some red trades again. Look at this sell-off right here, way more than you would expect. So boom, back in the red again. Really hard to maintain your profits. And then here, where it should have probably died off, it actually ends up randomly popping up higher again. And I'm just like, man, like this is a tricky ticker. I was thinking if I can get some decent trades on it, I'll probably end up calling it on BMR. I didn't think it was going to have the move it did today, all the way to $17, where its current high is. But that just shows the energy behind this ticker. What I do a good job here is letting this trade work. I don't close it right away because I'm already risking, so I need to actually have some good reward as well. So it pops up, I'm up like 500 on this trade, and at this point, I was thinking we're gonna have that fake out past 6.5, so that's why I held here a little bit longer. But what do I always say? Take your base hits, guys. So I do end up giving back some profits on this trade because I didn't go for that base hit. I was looking for that larger move, especially on a ticker where you're having a hard time getting green on. I actually ended up buying a little bit lower here, and it does have that slight move back to like 620, and I get out of this trade. But yeah, take your base hits because I was even up way more, and I had to deal with risk that I would have otherwise not had to deal with. And yeah, look at this strong pullback just to pop back up again. I don't know, really tricky ticker. And at this point in the Discord, I'm like, guys, I'm not trading this one anymore until the open. I need to give myself a little bit of a break. So here we are at the open. Let's see, 3, 2, 1. And my goal is maybe a morning panic, or maybe it pops higher over 6.4 and then I jump on it. So either way, that's kind of my plan. You don't really know what it's going to do at first, but it's showing a lot of strength, and there's the move over 6.4. I like what I'm seeing. And now my goal is to buy any sort of micro pullback, maybe to the 6.5 zone, because it's a nice $0.50 area, right? You always want to look at whole and half dollars. So I'm not buying this one too aggressively, but like I said, I'm looking for that whole and $0.50 zone. Now, there you can see my limit order going in. I got filled, but my problem is I don't know why I didn't use bigger size. I should have went with at least 700 shares as a starter size, but still I make some profit here, like a 2.500, and I could have held much longer. I sold at 7, so yeah, sold way too soon. But still holding really, really well. So again, I'm buying near 710, whole and $0.50. That's basically the name of the game right now. I am putting in a stop, which usually I don't do, but this ticker I was worried that was going to flush really hard on me, so I wanted to have a stop. And now I'm over managing a little bit. I should have let this one run. I'm also not using the size, so I could have done a lot better here. But just because of my trauma, I would say pre-market a little bit, how hard this ticker was to maintain your profits, I was a little bit cautious. Now at this point, it's pretty clear that it's overextended. We have $8 right here, and 804 was that all-time high from the previous days that we were talking about. It looked like it was going to get halted, but it was a false halt, and it keeps moving. So at this point, I'm kind of nervous, but I'm thinking, okay, anything around 7, actually probably like 750 at this point would be a good buy. So that's why I'm here putting my limit order down, but it actually doesn't break 650. It goes, actually it does. I was too low. That's what it was. So too conservative. I should have been way more aggressive here. I mean, that was a perfect pullback. I could have probably made 200-300 right there on that move. So at this point, I'm still being way too cautious, especially after it already pulled back. Now buying around 8 would have been aggressive, but at 740, 730, I mean, those were pretty good zones. So now what I'm waiting for here is that pullback to $7. And remember what I was saying before? I often chase just to get flushed on and stop where I wanted to get in 2 minutes earlier. So that's exactly what you're going to see right here, where I was thinking to myself, okay, there's a good chance it's probably going to pull back to $7. I mean, look at this move. It just would be so perfect. You could just feel that it should happen, right? We want to ride the 9 EMA as long as possible on the 1 minute. And that's basically front side trading in a nutshell. It's pretty straightforward, and any 5-year-old can explain it to you. But here it starts finding support, and I'm like, okay, let's go for it. And guess what? Guess what? I put a stop right where I actually wanted to put my limit order, and I get stopped out at the perfect low. It's about to pull, yeah, right here at 82, I get stopped out. Right, or 85, okay, and then it pops out up and moves higher and does exactly what I wanted. So now I'm up on a day $300, but before this trade, as you saw, I was up $724. So just like that, I gave back $500 roughly, maybe $450 on a setup that I knew had a really high chance of happening. So I was bored. I placed a limit order here, and then I stopped out where I actually wanted to get my fill. So this is like the worst trade I could have ever made today. And at least it's on video and I can review it. But this happens to me every now and then. I just get bored, or I get antsy, or I think, oh man, maybe it's not going to pull back. And if I wanted to get more aggressive, it should have been in these green candles. It should not be in the red candle. Don't catch that falling knife. And if you're going to catch a falling knife, at least catch it on the front side near 9 EMA, but not when you still have that quick 5% dip, like what happened to me. Because if I bought here, I would have been up, 3-4% right here, and I would have been over on the day over $1,000 just like that. So at this point, now I'm getting FOMO. I'm chasing a little bit. I'm doing a little bit of revenge trading, and guess what? I lose again because I buy high trying to catch that move higher. So it's a little bit sloppy, and I do manage to get a little bit of green, just basically over trading. I buy this dip, sell here. I'm in a little bit of a revenge mode, and luckily I'm able to make back some of my losses. At this point, I'm like, man, I'm everywhere on this ticker. I cannot seem to nail it, and I can't seem to hold my profits. And all it was is the fact that I was a little bit antsy. So that's what I mean. Trading doesn't have to be hard. Sometimes we make it hard for ourselves. Sometimes we're not in the flow anymore. We start getting distracted. We start thinking, oh, I have that other project I need to work on. Once you start having those thoughts in your head, either take a break or try to get back in that focus zone, because if you can't, that's usually where I start making a lot of mistakes. And there's no way I should be making that kind of mistake at 4 minutes after the market opened, because this is when I should still be very, very dialed in. So that was a little bit painful. I'm happy I made back some of my losses, but I could have easily had north of the $1,000 day very, very simply today just by trading very simple price action. But I let my emotions get the best of me a bit today. I gotta say though, even though I let my emotions get the best of me, I didn't do the best trading, I'm still up $600. So it's not really that bad. And that's what I like about trading. Sometimes you do horrible trading, but you're still green. It always makes me really excited for those days where I actually do pretty okay trading on a pretty good day, and then I have some record days. Here it is though, I'm still up 596. I didn't do any more trades on BMR. I coulda, shoulda, woulda, maybe, I don't know. At this point, it was basically dead, and I wasn't really interested in trading it anymore. It was really risky. It always felt like you were ready to give back a lot of profits, and then it randomly popped up over here, instantly got halted, opened up, got halted again. So this was almost impossible to trade. And yeah, the only thing I could have traded was this move to the 9 EMA. That was a 40% pop higher. So, coulda, shoulda, woulda. Maybe I was a little bit too risk averse today. There are those warrants out to get this ticker, so I'm a little bit cautious about that. That move to almost $17 was pretty wild on this ticker. One thing that I had in the back of my mind that probably made me a bit hesitant was the fact that it was Super Bowl weekend, and I was not expecting this kind of momentum right out of the gates. So for me, I was in a real 4G mindset, get green and get going. And usually that's the right idea, especially on a Monday or a Friday, and especially after some sort of holiday or big event where I do notice the momentum is a little bit more iffy. And in a way, I wasn't wrong. The momentum definitely wasn't that consistent. We had some really big moves, but it was just so easy to make a red trade today, buying slightly too high, or randomly the move just no longer worked, and there was a lot of flushes today. So that was that lack of consistency that I was expecting, but the moves were still more powerful than I was expecting. So there was a lot of potential today as well. If you guys do want to learn more about my trading, you can go to my profile, tradejournal.co/Winkler, or you go here to the community on tradejournal.co and check out the courses. You'll see my day trading stocks course. We got 10 reviews already at 4.6 stars. Here's all the course material we're going to be going over. And I'm actually going to be updating this course with some more stuff. You can check it out, 2-day free trial, and you could probably finish it before the trial. But I answer a lot of questions that I often get asked in this video course. Let's hope we get a little bit more momentum tomorrow. I would love just to make a couple less mistakes, and I think we can have a 2-3K day. I know it's right around the corner. Just got to be patient and get aggressive and size when we see the right setups. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and dropping that like. Happy Monday. Have a great start to the week. I'll see you next time.